How to spot a company with a toxic work culture. As a fresh out of school graduate who is in the job seeking process, or a student who is searching for a part time job to aid personal expenses, it is very easy to be wooed by a company you know nothing bad about. It is very easy to be carried away by their grandiosity that you are blinded by their toxic work culture. Well, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing some of these signs with you to help you spot a company with a bad culture and toxic work environment so that you can make an informed decision. But before we begin, let us clarify what a toxic work environment is. What is a toxic work culture? A toxic work culture can be defined by many things. It is a deep-rooted issue that is almost impossible to fully define in a paragraph. In fact, it is a common culprit of massive resignations. But here's a brief summary. A toxic work culture or environment is a workspace in which the institutional growth of the company is put in place above the mental and financial welfare of its workforce. This kind of work environment still employs crude and outdated work ethics that are toxically aimed to get the best out of its workers. A company with a toxic work environment perceives its workers like robots in a machine factory rather than humans with real lives beyond tasks and deadlines. Although a toxic work culture is mostly built by the employer, however, it could also form within the employees. Having defined this, let's move on to the signs. If you've ever witnessed any of these signs, let us know in the comments. 1. Office gossip. If upon the first day of your arrival, you notice a high level of gossip among the office staff, that's a red flag. It demonstrates a lack of seriousness and commitment to the tasks at hand, which further insinuates the lack of drive to achieve goals, if there is even any. 2. No defined set of humanitarian values. When there are no values and no vision in an organization, usually outlined for all to see on a vision board, the workforce lacks direction as to how to execute tasks. For this reason, employers are forced to play by their own rules, and that is not how a system works. 3. Vague salary amounts and irrelevant secrecy. When they hide how much the salary for the role is, that is a problem. Note, it is not about the money, it is about the irrelevant secrecy. When pivotal areas that are of direct concern to you are intentionally evaded, it hints a lack of seamless communication within the chains of the organization. Know this. 4. Presentation of unhealthy competition among peers. As long as they have accepted your CV and you have passed successive interview stages, you should not have to prove yourself constantly that you have what it takes to perform in the role you were hired for. If or when you're being given the vibes that you have to go beyond your peers to keep the job, that is a red flag. Yes, competition can be helpful to bring the best out of certain workers, but in a setting where that is the foundational work culture on which the company thrives, at the end of the day, it will exhaust you. 5. Nonchalant attitude among senior staff. If you come into the job as a junior, an intern, or a rookie, observe the senior staff. Notice their work ethics and conduct. Check to see if they follow the so-called rules and guidelines. Observe whether they are teachable or correctable. If they are, it's an indication that the rules are effective. If they are not, it is a sign that you are not working for a faceless company or righteous cause, but for the pockets and ease of the big boys. If the senior staff is not leading by example, it is only a matter of time before the junior employees start doing the same, and that only results in frustration for you who is passionate about the job at hand. 6. Lack of visible innovation. Stalk all their social media accounts. Thoroughly examine their web pages and check out for monotonous patterns. Notice if there were changes in how they do things. Notice the changes in templates, fonts, graphics, etc. If it's a new organization, this method isn't entirely valid. But if it's a company that has been around for a while and the way they started is still the same way they are, it hints the company is antagonistic to innovation and new ideas, a model that will not foster your growth. 7. Silence during sociocultural moments. If the company you intend to work for has a habit of staying silent when sensitive issues such as sexual harassment at work, rape, police brutality, terrorism, or bad governance are taking up the conversations on the internet, and they are failing to address and have conversation about them within the office, that's a sign that they do not care about anything in the real world or its employees. This leads us to the next sign: no philanthropy or humanitarian outreach. If a company lacks a history of donations, philanthropy, and humane outreach with all the money they make, it shows they do not care about the community welfare. When a company does not care for its community beyond the office walls, how can you expect it to care for you? 9. Bad reviews of company culture. This one is pretty obvious. It's just before hiring a service. Check for reviews of people who have worked there. When there are bad reviews of toxic work culture, that is the ultimate sign. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button for more career related tips and resources.